Hello everyone, my name is Gorbison Ramsley. I am a Pokemon enthusiast and an amateur tournament organizer that has already held tournaments in Yu-Gi-Oh!, Counter-Strike, and Smash Bros. And today I'm here to start the Gorbison Ramsley Gym Leader Invitational, a Gym Leader Challenge Pokemon tournament. Now join me and 8 others as they battle through the tournament with only one Pokemon type. I know. So I'm going to call all the action from right here in this chair and we'll watch this all together. But first, we gotta go over the rules. And here are the rules. All teams must be one type. Dual type Pokemon are allowed. Everyone is allowed one legendary and one mythical Pokemon each. Other than that, we will be playing using the rules that were current as of August 5th, 2002. Rule number 4, all matches must be reported and a replay saved and sent to me. Number 5, all scheduling must be done peer-to-peer between the two competitors. All completed teams must be privately submitted to me before the first match and cannot be changed after the first match is scheduled. 7, group stage will be best of 1. Bracket will be best of 3. Losers and winners finals and grand finals are all best of 5. And the group stage will be used for seeding. Now with rules out of the way, let's take a look at everyone's team for this event. And if you want to skip this and get right into the action, follow the timestamp on that screen. Starting with Ending's Dark team. Ending is a competitive Pokemon newbie. This is actually his first event and he's only ever dabbled in competitive Pokemon before, only being a purely casual yet dedicated fan. So here we start with B-Sharp. As you can see, he's meant to be a speedy physical attacker with Life Orb to deal that bit of extra damage. A Stab, Sucker Punch, and Knockoff with the addition of Iron Head give this B-Sharp easy access to damage and priority damage, with Dark and Steel being amazing typing in my opinion. Next we have Crawdaunt, and while normally not an amazing Pokemon, despite being one of my personal favorite, he's Banded, which gives him quite the substantial power boost, and once again with an amazing power boosted Aqua Jet priority move plus knockoff. I can see this mon doing some damage, but with the abundance of grass type gym leaders, I fear for him. After that we have the Chad of the team, Guzzlord. Being an Ultra Beast gives Guzzlord a crazy HP stat, but bad to middling stats and everything else. So this Pokemon, as you can see, is here to stall. It's got Leftovers, Protect, and Toxic to help Ending deal with problem Pokemon. Darpin Dragon is also a pretty unique typing and affords Guzzlord plenty of immunities and resistances, so I expect Guzzlord to do its job well. Then we have Obstagoon, and when I saw this set, I was flummoxed. I was amazed. I expect this Pokemon to do some major damage. Let me break this down. You have full attack and speed EVs, a speed nature, and then a Flame Orb which will burn the Obstagoon, which then procs Guts effect and Facade effect, which is already Stab. Both of those abilities and moves doing extra damage when burned. It's terrifying, and I suspect Obstagoon to rack up plenty of KOs with it. Ending's penultimate Pokemon is Weavile with heavy duty boots, which will protect it from its hatred of entry hazards. Weevil is Weavilein. He's going to be the revenge killer. Sorry about that. He's fast and he hits deceptively hard. Ice Shard once again giving one of Ending's Pokemon a stab priority move, which will give Ending access to a lot of clean revenge killing and allow him to control the pace of the game. And Ending's final Pokemon, Zarude, this guy pretty much has it all. He has a powerful stab move in Power Up and Darkest Lariat, setup moves with Bulk Up, and sustain with Jungle Healing, which will also stop Zarude from getting paralyzed or burned, while also healing him for 25%. Between Zarude, Obstagoon, and Weavile, I expect Ending to put on quite the show. Alright, and our second competitor is Brenden V, the Electric type gym leader. Brenden is also quite new to competitive Pokemon, this being his first event as well, also only having dipped his toe into competitive before. He used to be quite the fan of Pokemon, and I look forward to seeing how he plays after seeing the team he set up. Firstly is his Magnezone. Usually the tank of the teams, Brenden's Magnezone is instead going to be going for some quick and dirty damage while keeping him alive, using Volt Switch and Thunder Wave to control speed and advantage. Adding to his amazing typing, I anticipate that Magnezone will be one of the main players on Brenden's team. After him is Manectric. The speedy electric type seems to be the revenge killer sort of utility Pokemon, having plenty of coverage moves but also choice specs. I imagine more than a few Ice Fangs will launch, as there is a lot of dragons and flying types running around, but Volt Switch is a favorite among specs users since you get the specs boost but also get a breeze switch out. This dog is going to do some damage. Watch out. Next up, an interesting selection, Alolan Raichu. Giving Brenden access to the powerful Psychic type while also bringing forth a unique playstyle. Raichu is going to be trying to set up that electric terrain, which will help his whole team, but also double Raichu's speed on top of that, making this Pokemon sneaky powerful under the right circumstances. With a powerful coverage move in Focus Blast, I could see Alolan Raichu stealing some of the spotlight in some matches. Now, the next three Pokemon just make sense. All powerful, all staples, and what I assume are going to be the crux of many a Brenden victory. First up, we have Rotom Watch. Just like before, he's going to be Volt Switching and Thunder Waving his way to control speed and advantage, with Will-O-Wisp helping with any physical attacker that might come its way, but also a very powerful Hydro Pump, when fired at the right moment, might be a game clincher. Zapdos. One of the most ubiquitous electric types to ever be put in a video game. This Pokemon is a pretty straightforward set, making use of the powerful Hurricane attack and Volt Switch to rack up damage and once again get free switch-ins, but also Defog to handle any hazards, which this team does not like. This team does not like hazards. And Roost to keep Zapdos in the game. Everyone is going to be keeping their eye on this mon. And lastly, we have Zorora. A very speedy Pokemon made even speedier with the EV spread that Brenden threw together. This Pokemon is just good. It's fast, and with heavy-duty boots, it won't have to worry about hazards. Plasma Fist is just an incredible move. Add that together with Bulk Up, making it even stronger and bulkier. This Pokemon is just awesome, and is quickly becoming one of my favorites. I think just given Brendan's team composition, I'm just excited to see how his run plays out. Then we have CCCrossland. He has a little Pokemon battling experience, having battled with his friends in Black and White 2 all the way up to Oras. So he's got some knowledge, but personally knowing him, he's also going to be one of the most cerebral players. So expect him to make a lot of smart and calculated plays. Well, first up, we have Cradily, which may seem a bit odd, but I think is a very strong choice for this format. Firstly, it's very bulky, letting it stay on the field for even longer, with leftovers and recover. Stealth Rock, obvious. He's going to be in there to put down Stealth Rocks and then chip away at the first Pokemon that's pretty much made to stay in against it, lest his enemy wants free Stealth Rock damage. Then we have quite the defensive staple, Ferrothorn. With Spikes, Leech Seed, Iron Barbs, and Protect, this mon is just trying to stay alive as long as possible while doing as much chip damage as possible. You may find it weird that he has two Pokemon that are primarily just sticking around doing chip damage, but when you see his later Pokemon, you'll understand. The first of those Pokemon is the absurdly powerful Pokemon, Kartana. Kartana is one of my personal favorite Pokemon, and one I use in my own competitive teams, so I know just how powerful this little piece of paper can be. Firstly, it's fast. And with full speed investments and nature, it'll be even faster. It's going to be one of the fastest Pokemon on the field at any given time. Now, you may notice that it does have a 4x weakness to fire, but to make up for that common weakness, it comes with Swords Dance to boost its already high attack, Beast Boost, which will increase it even further every time it gets the KO, then a powerful Stab Leaf Blade with 85 base power plus Stab, and the powerful support move Knockoff, which might just straight KO later in the game, and Sacred Sword, a powerful attack which covers quite the array of types. Look out for this Pokemon to be making nigh effortless sweeps. Then we have Crossland's next big attacker, Rillaboom with a Choice Band. Much like endings of a prior move, this Rillaboom comes packaged with one of the best, Grassy Glide. But first, let's mention Grassy Surge. The second Rillaboom comes out, he brings with him the Grassy Terrain, which boosts the power of grass moves by 30%, heals HP by 1/16, and halves the effects of Earthquake and Bulldoze. Phew, that's a lot. But he also comes with Knockoff, which I've talked plenty about already, but also has a great coverage move with high horsepower, which will make any fire type scared to switch in, as well as U-Turn, the bug equivalency of Volt Switch. Letting Rillaboom get in and scout with U-Turn and then come back with a powerful Grassy Glide or Knockoff. And would you look at that? We have another Rotom form. This one with a subplot set, made to increase Rotom Mow into a sweeper with some sustain with leftovers. This Mon is probably going to switch in off of U-Turn, or if they have an advantageous matchup, to set up a substitute, which will eat any damage Rotom takes for 1/3 of his HP, which will allow him to set up nasty plots from behind the safety of the Plunch. Then launch powerful stab Thunderbolts to get KOs. And lastly, we have the support Pokemon Whimsicott, who comes with the very strong Prankster ability, which allows it to use pretty much any non-attacking move as a priority move, with Stun, Spore, and Encore being the targets for that, either paralyzing his foe or forcing them to use the same move for several turns, where then its Stab Moonblast that gets a minor boost from the plate will deal some sneaky good damage. With Crossland's team, I fully expect him to pick up some wins here. Now comes the favorite to win the whole tournament, and it was almost decided when we spun for types. The Dragon-type gym leader, Dew, who I think has the most knowledge of Pokemon. He went so far as to make an entire database for Pokemon, which you can check out over at the link in the description. It's my personal go-to website when I need to build teams, get details on all the Pokemon I'm looking at, and see type charts. Once again, it'll be in the description. I hope you all like pseudo-legendaries, because Dew is packing them in. Firstly, the Dragapult. Now, if you even thought of getting into Sword and Shield competitive, or even just played the game, you know how powerful Dragapult is. Great typing in Ghost and Dragon, great stats, made even greater with its EV spread, and made even stronger with the Dragon Fang that'll boost its Dragon moves by 20%. This Pokemon is here to do damage, plain and simple. Dragon Dance is going to make Dragapult's already cracked stats even more, with a boost to speed and attack every time that move gets clicked. Then strong Stabs in Dragon Darts and Phantom Force gonna make this Mon quite tough to fight. Now comes a Pokemon with an absolutely goated typing, Steel Dragon. Duraludon has 2 weaknesses, 8 resists, an immunity, and a quad resist. This Pokemon is here to deal damage and stay alive because killing this Pokemon is going to be a chore. Draco Meteor and Flash Cannon are going to wreak havoc on the competition, especially if they're super effective, which the Expert Belt will then boost it by an additional 20%. And Thunder Wave is just a great way to control speed and make Duraludon even more formidable. Now the elephant in the room. There was some misunderstanding among the other competitors about what was allowed. That is my bad. Dew had asked the follow-up question about if banned Pokemon were allowed, to which I said that it's okay. With that said, here's the utterly broken Eternatus. There's a reason this Pokemon is banned. If I host another event, you will also be banned. This Pokemon kills. With a staggeringly powerful Dynamax Cannon, paired with a Stab Sludge Bomb, makes Fairies just a bump in the road. It also has Recover, which will stop chip damage and status from being a problem. And Flamethrower is an absolutely great coverage move given the field of competition. The next up is one of the most famous / infamous Pokemon in the game, Garchomp. This Pokemon attacks, and attacks hard, with a Stab Earthquake on an absolutely monumental 130 base attack value that gets only higher with 252 attack EVs. Don't even get me started if this big boy manages to get a Swords Dance or 2 off. Rough Skin will ensure chip damage will make Stealth Rock and Stone Edge even better, as the enemy will be even weaker coming in. Not many things scare a competitive player, but Garchomp is always going to cause that reaction. Now for the most specially defensive pseudo-legendary, Goodra. With the Assault Vest on, this Pokemon's main job is to survive and deal as much damage as it can before biting the dust. With strong coverage options ranging 4 different types, I imagine this Pokemon to be thrown in when Dew doesn't want to risk one of his higher priority damaging Pokemon. And for the last of the list, and last of the pseudos, we have the criminally underrated Hydreigon. With decent to great stats across the board, this Pokemon is going to be the underline of Dew's team. No one is going to fear it like they do with Eternatus or Garchomp. No one is going to play around it like Duraludon or Goodra. But this Mon comes with a very powerful Flamethrower and subplot set, which could very well just win Dew some games. With Dew being the creator of his very own database, as well as someone who I've played Pokemon against for many years, I'd still have to put Dew as the favorite to win this tournament. Next, we have Dotz, the Bug-type gym leader. Dotz is one of the lesser experienced competitors in this tournament, and I think it's actually his first time team building in general. So without further ado, his first member of the team is Butterfree, and this first mod is a classic example of a new team builder. You see, he has an idea of what he wants to do with Toxic and Giga Drain, letting him get that toxic poison off while also being able to sustain with the drain. But then you have stuff like Facade and Mago Berry, which, while Mago Berry is a good healing item, it's one and done. And Butterfree isn't exactly bulky enough to use that kind of thing properly. But then we have his Buzzwole set, and you can tell there's a bit more of an idea in place. Leftovers to help him stay alive and keep dishing out damage, Stab, Drain Punch, which will help do both of those things. Then stuff like Body Slam, which could proc Paralysis, and Earthquake as a Dynamite coverage move for fire types. Then we have one of the best Pokemon ever put to game here with Genesect. Two strong moves in Bug Buzz and Iron Head, both stab, and both coming from his insane 120 base special and physical attack. Both with the chance to also do additional stuff. Bug Buzz can lower that special defense, and Iron Head can flinch. And juicy options in Extreme Speed and Psychic to get Revenge KO, and make use of his special attack. Next, we have what is easily my favorite Pokemon, Scizor. With Technician and Bullet Punch, Scizor will look to control the speed of the battle by punching holes in the enemy as fast as possible. Strong coverage moves in Superpower, Psycho Cut, and Bug Buzz will make Scizor quite the difficult mon to switch into. The one thing he has to watch out for is fire attacks, as they will instantly melt him away. And next we have Shuckle, which I think is another mon that is a perfect example of the inexperience. The set on the outside looks fine, with Rest, Sleep Talk, and Toxic being used to stop Shuckle from being statused while also draining the enemy of his health. However, the Mago Berry coming back this time is bad. Because Shuckle is a sassy nature, that Mago Berry will just confuse him instead of really helping him. But lastly, we have Volcarona. With a decent typing, I guess, and good move pool, this mon is dangerous with his massive 135 base special stat. Fiery Dance, Fire Blast, and Flame Charge all offer high attack, stab fire moves with a chance to burn, but also a chance to raise special attack with Fiery Dance. This mod should be scorching anything it can safely switch into. Now, with his inexperience in both battle and team building, it'll be interesting to see how far Dotz's instincts can carry him in this event. Next, we have our high-flying gym leader, George. George is a big fan of Pokemon and is coming into some of his first competitive games in this event, but with a very type-like flying, it'll be interesting to see how he put his team together. With that said, the first one we have up is Drifblim. I think this is a super sneaky good set. Unburden will double Drifblim's speed when the citrus berry is eaten. With substitutes, that should be no problem. And behind that sub, he should be able to get a couple Calm Minds in, given Drifblim's decent defensive typing. So with the speed boost and Calm Mind attack boost, that Shadow Ball is looking mighty scary. Next we have the Scourge of competitive Pokemon, Landorus Therian. And with the Choice Scarf and speed investments, this guy will be incredibly hard to outspeed. Put that together with a Stab Earthquake, he'll look to pile on quite a bit of damage. Also with a move like U-Turn, Landorus T becomes a really good scout to see what the enemy is planning. And if all else fails, Explosion will likely take down a mon with it. After that we have the Masked Bird, Hawlucha, coming with Mold Breaker, which stops abilities from being able to provide immunity to his attacks. Kind of like Levitate stopping ground attacks. He joins the fight equipped with an Expert Belt, which as mentioned before adds an extra 20% on top of all super effective attacks. And with the set we have here, Roost to keep him in the fight, Sword Stance to greatly increase his attacks, and then Close Combat and High Jump Kick to pummel the foe to the ground. This little guy could get a sweeper too if conditions are optimal. One of the few pseudo-legendaries we've yet to see, we have Salamence, bringing the very formidable Intimidate, which lowers his opponent's attacks, while also bringing forth his own bevy of attacks, like Draco Meteor, which is stab, while providing a bone-chilling amount of damage, and will make his opponent pause for a second before switching at anything that takes it even neutrally. Defog, clearing all terrain and hazards, is an excellent utility move to assist his teammates with those rocks. Flamethrower is also a great coverage move for any steel types that may come his way, which, given the list of Pokemon we've already discussed, is going to be quite a bit. The name of Skarmory's game is Living, with Sturdy, which stops all one-hit KOs, to Roost and Iron Defense. This guy's job is to lay spikes, increase its defense, then crush the enemy with Body Press, which, unlike most moves, uses the user's defense stat to determine its power. With the chip damage from spikes and Rocky Helmet, and the Body Press in the back pocket, Skarmory is looking to be quite the scary support Pokemon. And speaking of support Pokemon, we have Xatu. This guy's job is as straightforward as it comes. He's going to be laying down Light Screen and Reflect, which with Light Clay makes him last 8 turns. So that's 8 turns of his team getting boosted special and physical defense. George seems to have a better handle on his team building than some of the others, but I think a lack of pure coverage moves and not having a single flying move on his team may end up costing him in the end. Next, we have our second Grass Gym leader, and someone whom I've played quite a bit with, we have Neon Koolaid. While he and I have played quite a bit of random battles on Showdown, this is his first real time creating a full team from scratch without my help, so I'm looking forward to see what he came up with. First up, we have a familiar face, Cradily, which looks to have a more offensive-minded set in mind. Still going to be putting that Toxic on foes, but now with a Life Orb, that Ancient Power is looking kinda scary with the chance to raise all of Cradely's stats. The Leech Seed is also a method to increase Cradely's time alive, giving that Toxic more time to work. Another familiar face with another slightly different set, whereas Crossland's Ferrothorn was put on the field to live, Koolaid's is on the field to make his opponent get mad. He can throw down 2 layers of different hazards, as well as Leech Seed and Toxic, making it hard for even the bulkiest of Pokemon to live the onslaught of passive damage. You'll never believe it, but both of our Grass Gym leaders have 3 of the same Pokemon. This time, it's Rillaboom, with more of a focus on speed and setup. Koolaid's Rillaboom is meant to come in, Grassy Glide / knockoff, then peace out and just be a thorn in people's side. And that was the last Pokemon our 2 leaders share. Now we're in new territory with Roserade. And from what it looks like, Koolaid is relying on this usually defensive Pokemon to use this 125 special attack to get a lot of damage in. And with things like Leaf Storm and Sludge Bomb both being stabs, he looks to make quite the stir. However, he needs to watch out for Leaf Storm's drawback, which lowers Roserade's special attack with each use. But Sleep Powder is actually a great forward slot move to be able to get some free knocks or free switch outs with its use. And now we have the runt of the Tapu family, Tapu Bulu. With a pretty good typing of Grass and Berry, he'll find getting that Grassy Surge up to be quite easy. The part where it slips up is the move selection. Not having a Fairy move is quite the oversight, as it would give Tapu the chance to stand with the Dragon types that are going to haunt it. However, I do like the addition of Horn Leech to keep it living longer. Wood Hammer, Stone Edge, and Superpower can be good coverage moves that deal a lot of damage, but once again, the lack of a Fairy type move is just going to hurt it a lot in the end. And to round out the roster, we have Venusaur, a classic Pokemon and strong in its own right. This Pokemon is built to tank, HP and defensive investment with a special defense nature to augment his already bulky defenses. After that, the Leech Seed and Synthesis, this Pokemon is living for a while, especially with a Stab Giga Drain that can get even stronger with Overgrow. I think Koolaid has a lot of interesting ideas here in his team, but his inexperiences shine through with his lack of coverage moves to counter his Pokemon weaknesses, but having fought him before, he has the skill to sneak some upsets. And finally, we have Zomboning, who sounded like he had experience in this kind of format, but quite the interesting typing with Poison. I imagine a lot of Toxic stalling, and who can blame him? That's Poison's entire existence in competitive Pokemon. But let's take a look. First, we have VGC staple Amoonguss, with Progenerator healing him every time he switches out, and with Giga Drain. I see this Pokemon being an annoyance for a great many foe. Pair that up with Spore, giving him amazing sleep control. This mod should be coming out and doing its job with ease. Secondly, we have Drapion coming in with Sniper and a Choice Band, which will make any crit that befalls his enemy an almost guaranteed instant knockout. Pair that up with a stab, poison jab, and knockoff, and excellent coverage moves in Rock Slide and Earthquake, this usually underrated mon can find himself dealing some major damage. Now we have a classic for those in the know about Pokemon speedrunning, Nidoking. And given the look of this set, it seems to me that between Nidoking and Drapion, these are going to be the two main physical attackers. Sheer Force and Life Orb are going to increase the power of all three of Nidoking's moves, with a stab being included in Sludge Wave and Earth Power, making that a very strong 1-2 punch, with Ice Beam being a wonderful coverage move to scare away any Dragon, Grass, or Flying types. Slowbro Galar is a really interesting choice here, especially paired with a Regenerator and an Assault Vest. It seems to me this mon's job is to swap in, deal some damage, take some damage, and then swap out to a more offensively minded Pokemon. And with moves like this, he's going to be dealing a fair bit of damage, with Future Sight being a very interesting option as a stab move, allowing him to set that up, switch out, and have the recipient take a fair bit of damage. Next we have a Pokemon that I assure you will cause quite a few players to tear their hair out. Toxapex is here to ruin your day. He's going to haze away your setup moves, clearing out any increases you have on your own or any decreases on itself. It's going to recover, so even if you manage to damage it, it'll heal with Recover, Regenerator, and Black Sludge. Then on top of that, it'll either burn you with Scald or Toxic away your very essence. Fear this mon. And finally, we have the most dapper of all the Pokemon I've talked about, Weezing Galar. If Toxapex isn't enough to crush your spirit, then Weezing sure as hell will. Defog to clear out hazards. Will-O-Wisp to burn your Pokemon and lower its physical attack. Pain Split to ensure any damage done to Weezing is also done to you. And Toxic Spikes to poison any Pokemon that wants to switch in. Zomboning's team is the quintessential stall team, and I'm sure it's going to serve him well against the less experienced players of the tourney. Alright, after that frankly exhausting recap of the Pokemon we will be seeing, let's take a look at the groups. In Group A, we have Dew, the Dragon Gym Leader, Dotz, the Bug Gym Leader, and Koolaid, the Grass Gym Leader. In Group B, we have Brenden V, the Electric Gym Leader, George, the Flying Gym Leader, and Brotacular, who was supposed to be the Fairy-type Gym Leader, but ended up having to leave the tourney. Then in Group C, we have CCCrossland, the Grass Gym Leader, Zomboning, the Poison Gym Leader, and Ending, the Dark Gym Leader. I think the favorites to do well in Giga Seeding are Dew, Crossland, and Zomboning. I think given how each group shook up, those are the ones I expect to do well in the group stage. Now then, that's enough chit-chat. Let's get right into the action with our first match of Group A, Dotz, the Bug-type Gym Leader, versus Dew, the Dragon-type Gym Leader.
Dotz, the Bug Trainer, versus Dew, the Dragon Trainer. Let's get into it. Who we got the opener with? We got Shuckle, alright, interesting choice, versus Garchomp. Now that's a great opener. He's going to get the Stop Rocks down right away. Absolutely great choice. Ooh, Toxic Counter. That puts Garchomp on a timer. Sword Stance, letting Garchomp get a little stronger. Shuckle going for an Ancient Power. That's interesting. I feel like the move would have been to trade him out immediately after the counter. Earthquake going to do a fair bit of damage. Another Ancient Power. Maybe hoping for the Omni Boost, or maybe just kind of resigning Shuckle to his fate. Maybe baiting Garchomp to stay in to take more damage. Oh, maybe it is. First death goes the way of Dew here. Knocks Shuckle right out, but Garchomp is low. Then we got Buzzwole, who could be a real problem. Oh, but the Stone Edge crit! Taking Buzzwole down to 28. Oh, but the Drain Punch as well. Taking Garchomp out, but doing a fair bit of damage to Buzzwole in return. But Buzzwole with the Beast Boost could be an issue here if he didn't bring out Hydreigon. Oh, but the Drain Punch. Oh, but he switches out! What? Into Butterfree, which is just going to get absolutely melted by Stealth Rocks and Flamethrower. Not letting him start a single thing here. We got Volcarona coming out quickly here. Arbas doing a fair bit with the resistance. That's kind of just going to show how powerful Volcarona is. The Flamethrower will not do well as a counter, though. Citrus Berry proc, giving Volcarona a chance at life here. Might have been better to set up some Fiery Dances. Dark Pulse taking Volcarona down low. Oh, but Giga Drain getting some HP. And that's going to take the Volcarona out pretty easily. Hydreigon not really taking a lot of damage, bringing in the Scizor, who just gets melted instantly by Hydreigon's Flamethrower. Dotz not really playing around this Flamethrower. That's kind of hard to. Volcarona was kind of your one shot here. Bug Buzz does end up taking out the Hydreigon eventually, but this is looking done and dusted, unfortunately. We still got the Eternatus coming out. Yep, there it is. And I think that's just going to melt the rest of Dotz's team. He's got a really weak Buzzwole, who gets even weaker with, yep, and the Flamethrower. That is it. And the winner is Dew, making just a really clean victory. Tumon's dead, yes, but it was never really close. Dotz tried his best, but I think with a few different plays, I think he could have made this a lot closer. All right, tune in for the next match.
All right, we're back with Game 2 of Group A. We have Neon Koolaid, the Grass Gym Leader, and Dew, the Dragon Gym Leader. All right, looks like we're going to start defensively with Ferrothorn and Goodra. Ooh, but that Fire Blast is just going to eviscerate Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn goes down without even standing a chance. Next out comes Cradley. Great move by Koolaid, bringing out a Pokemon that resists that Flamethrower. Puts the Toxic on Goodra. With Goodra Dragon Tailing, that might actually help Koolaid more. Yeah, brings out the Venusaur. That is a perfect Mon right now. That is definitely going to live a Fire Blast, yep, without even trying. 41 HP left. Puts the Leech Seed out, though. This could be very interesting for Koolaid here. Yeah, brings Goodra down to 70. Protects. Brilliant read by Koolaid, protecting against that Fire Blast, letting that Toxic and Leech Seed do a little more damage to it. This is going to put Koolaid at near full HP. Full HP next turn. Ooh, especially with that Giga Drain. Doing that little bit of chip damage against Goodra. Misses the Fire Blast. Yeah, this Venusaur is going to be going into the next battle full HP. Yep, Goodra goes down. Brilliant play from Koolaid, honestly. That's impressive. But here comes Eternatus. Oh boy. Brings out Tapu Bulu, which is it's a choice. Flamethrower utterly destroys Tapu Bulu, not even a chance. I think this one is done and dusted. Eternatus is just game-breaking. I don't think Koolaid has a chance. Brings out the Cradley, though. Once again, pretty good decision. Ooh, the burn comes out. Tox. I don't think Koolaid knows that you can't poison a poison type. In a miss, too, so he's probably going to try it again. I've never missed for Koolaid. Yeah, that's 2 turns wasted on Cradley trying to poison an unpoisonable Pokemon. Oh boy. Yep, Eternatus just rips it to shreds without really breaking a sweat even. I guess he broke a sweat because it was hot. Because of the Flamethrower. My guy. Ooh. Yeah, Roserade goes in just to go out. Maybe if his decision is to get the Life Orb damage chipped. Venusaur. Pretty good shout. Oh, lives a full power Life Orb Flamethrower, though. Gets the Leech Seed down. Oh, my lord. Koolaid could turn this around. Protect. Great choice. Excellent read by Koolaid, trying to protect. Gets that Leech Seed damage down a little bit more. What we got now? Goes for the double protect. And Dew reads that perfectly, going for a recover, getting Meatless Dragon back up to near full HP. Leech Seed is putting in a lot of work for Koolaid here. The Synthesis, pretty much nothing has happened now. In fact, Koolaid has the advantage against Eternatus. I'm interested to see what he's going to end up doing. I didn't play Sword and Shield or pay attention to the competitive scene. And if I would have known Eternatus was this broken, I probably would have put my foot down. I for sure would have at least gotten rid of Recover. Let that not fly, because Koolaid beats... He's winning the 1v1 right now. He would have won if not for Recover. Unfortunately, there goes Venusaur with Koolaid's last Pokemon available. Rillaboom. Grassy Surge up. That would have been really helpful a bit ago. Oh no. Uh-oh, Stinky! That's not loud. Okay. The Sludge Bomb takes care of him pretty well.
Good match from Koolaid. Honestly, I'm very impressed. If he keeps up this level of play to the tournament, he could sneak some wins. I would really have looked forward to seeing that without Eternatus making an appearance, just to see what would have happened. But Dew wins another one. That's 2-0. Top of his group, gets excellent seeding. And then all we have left for Group A is Dotz versus Koolaid, so stay tuned for that. All right, we have the last game of Group A, Neon Koolaid, the Grass Leader, versus Dotz, the Bug Leader. Both looking for their first win, and both very inexperienced in Pokemon combat. This is going to be a good game. All right, we start with Roserade against Butterfree. Okay, this is easily favoring Butterfree with Hurricane. Busts out the Sludge Bomb, does a fair bit of damage. Tries to poison the Poison type. Dotz learning that lesson the hard way. Leaf Storm coming out, the Quad Resist, and the drawback. Yeah, this is definitely showing off the inexperience just a little bit on these first couple rounds. Gets the Sleep Powder out. Okay, now we're gonna get a switch out into something that can handle Butterfree. Shirley with the Spa drop. Or we're gonna do that. Facade goes for Facade, hoping it'd be enough, but it just isn't. Roserade lives that, being a decently bulky Pokemon. Dot's making the first switch, interestingly enough, while Roserade goes for another Sludge Bomb. These would be doing a lot more damage without that Spadef drop, or Spa drop, rather, sorry. Shuckle fast asleep. Now we're going to get hopefully the switch out. Dazzling Gleam. Okay, we're going to keep this half Spa Roserade out in the field. Another Sleep Powder. Surely, we're going to get a switch out. There we go. Okay, into Ferrothorn. Perfect. Now Koolaid can use Ferrothorn to just drop spikes and move on with his day. Shuckle tries to Sleep Talk, but Ferrothorn is kind of the worst target for such a thing. Toxic and Ancient Power aren't going to do crap to Ferrothorn. Resisted. Ooh, boost for the fans. Damn. That'd have been exciting. Another layer of spikes down. This is looking pretty hot for Koolaid. Tries to Toxic the Metal type now, or Steel type. Dot's now learning how Poison works. That's going to be really valuable later on in the tournament, I can just tell. Fire Blast melts Ferrothorn. Absolutely fucking destroyed. Get out of here. Alright, Cradily coming out. That's a perfect counter again. See, once Koolaid makes these switches, he always switches into the right Pokemon. Toxics, Buzzwole. This is perfect. This is going to pretty much make Buzzwole a non-issue. Eliminating one of... Oh my lord! Drain Punch destroying Cradily and dropping Cradily down to 16 and fully healing Buzzwole. Oh my god, but Koolaid, what a play with the Leech Seed, bringing Cradily almost back to full. Bust out the Venusaur, perfect target for that Drain Punch. It's honestly impressive that once Koolaid gets moving, he makes some really good plays. Dotz is also playing very well. He's making a lot of good decisions and not letting Koolaid's pressure really affect him. Except for right there, I think he's feeling nervous. He's just trying to get some damage on the board. I'd be nervous too if one of my strongest Pokemon was damaged like that. Brings out Volcarona. He probably doesn't even need to switch out for the rest of the game. Volcarona is fast. Volcarona has all these tools to just eliminate pretty much every Pokemon on Koolaid's team. Fire Blast absolutely gonna dominate Cradily. And now I think this is done. I don't know of a Pokemon on Koolaid's team that can outspeed Volcarona. I think Tapu Bulu might be faster and Grassy Glide exists, but it's not going to do anything to Volcarona. And oh my god, Ready Grassy Glides into the Quad Resist and instantly gets melted with Fire Blast. Dotz is in the driver's seat. This is Dotz's game to lose. Koolaid has been making really good plays, but like the blunders have been game changers for Dotz. Oh my, and the Spa, right, Rose? This is done and dusty, dude. I don't think Dotz can lose this if he tried. Okay. I don't get it. Maybe Dotz knows something I don't. All right, gets the Bug Buzz, gets the Spit F drop. That's huge. But he is seated. Koolaid has huge sustain on this Pokemon. Venusaur just lives forever. And Scizor just doesn't have anything in his repertoire to damage Koolaid effectively. Uses Superpower, doesn't really do enough to justify it. So we're probably going to get a switch back into probably something else. Goes for the Bullet Punch, not going to do anything with the attack drop. And the Giga Drain is going to be allowed to just increase Koolaid's living. Koolaid's been stalling very effectively. I think he's making a lot of good moves, and I think Dotz is really starting to feel the pressure despite being up by so much. Does another Superpower. I don't really see a world where that's the right move. Does another Bullet Punch. All Koolaid has to do is click any attacking move. And Scizor's going to go down. Yep. This is definitely a good game to really let both of these guys gain more experience. Because as you guys can see, they're clicking buttons, and they're not always the right move, but when they do make the right move, it's always good. They always are getting these sneaky plays. Alright, Koolaid's down to his last Pokemon, but it is one of his strongest. Tapu Bulu. Coming in fast and hard with the Wood Hammer. Even with the resists, does knock Butterfree out. Koolaid could even this out. Most of Dotz's Pokemon are damaged except for Shuckle. Brings up the Shuckle. Drops him down to almost half HP though. The Wood Hammer gonna completely eliminate him. Oh my gosh. This is kind of dangerous. This is kind of dangerous unless he brings out the Volcarona. Brings out Genesect. Download might be able to give Genesect the edge here, but he goes for extreme speed. No. Oh my gosh. This Wood Hammer is just doing business. If Koolaid can get past Genesect, I think. And the Bug Buzz is actually going to eliminate him. What a close game, actually. Koolaid really got online at the end there. I just wish he would have just switched out Roserade way sooner. I think that was the hugest blunder, was just keeping Roserade in for so long. And just allowed Dotz to just generate so much advantage and free damage onto Koolaid. But that was a good game. I am very impressed with their play as mostly newbies to this kind of battling. But hopefully they spruce up their play when it comes to bracket. That will make Koolaid 0-2 and Dotz 1-1.
And that's it for Group A. What a great start. I am super impressed with Koolaid and Dotz's play despite their rookie status, but Dude just eviscerated the competition, only losing 3 Pokemon in both games total. That is crazy and is setting the pace for a ridiculously dominant run. That's it for me on day 1 here with Group A. Stay tuned for Group B coming soon.